Hey guys, it's Ashley again. I am going to show you what my daily routine is so that it's easier to follow than the other video where I just kind of listed everything off. So I'm just going to go through my day from beginning to end, and that might be helpful for some of you. I wake up about an hour to an hour and a half before I have to be somewhere in order for all of my supplements and food to have their time to digest in my stomach. Otherwise, it's not super great to just shove all these things in your mouth and go. So I start off with this particular group of 4 supplements. The first one is Max Amino Caps from Country Life. And for me, these don't make me break out, and some of the other aminos do. I'm sensitive to B vitamins, and so this is the only one I've found that hasn't made me break out. I take 4 of these a day to help stabilize with my mood and just overall pain. And so if you look at the back too, you'll see that it has, 15 or so of the different amino acids, and especially those of us that don't have an easy time digesting our food because of EDS, we can get our aminos from these rather than food, because we're always lacking, I think. The second is Jarrow's methyl B12 chewables, the 1,000 micrograms, which is recommended as the amount per day. This is super important for people that do not eat meat or cheese or dairy, and I myself stay away from dairy because of what it does to my inflammation in my joints. So I take the B12 for that reason, and it's really important to note that the methyl, on the front it says methyl, is more expensive. However, it's important to have that one because the cyano B12s are bound to cyanide, and those of us who have sensitivities typically have sensitivities to supplements that are bound to cyanide. And it sounds kind of scary anyway, I think. The third is phosphatidylserine, which is also just called P.O.T.S. And I would recommend this brand. I've had a lot of good luck with it. This is also a mood stabilizer. It helps with brain fog. It helps with being on the top of your game mentally instead of having that fatigue and just kind of feeling like you have memory issues and word recall problems. This helps me a lot. And the last one in this group I take in the morning, and all of these, the last 3 I take before food, so it needs to be about a half an hour before you eat any food. They need to go on an empty stomach. The third one is vitamin A, and vitamin A, I take it because it helps digest certain kinds of food for me. In the event that I actually do try goat's milk, or goat's milk products, which some people try instead of regular dairy, this helps digest it, and I just feel like it kind of helps my energy anyway. So I found the Nature's Plus to be a good brand. I just take one of those. So I take those for half an hour before I eat, and I also go into the kitchen and pour myself some aloe concentrate, and I do about 2 tablespoons in water. And this is absolutely necessary for me. This prevents my intestines from getting inflamed, and when they're inflamed, the waste won't pass. And if the waste won't pass, as you guys know, you get bloated and you feel like a giant painful blimp. And so this helps keep my inflammation down. If you feel like you take the 2 tablespoons and it's too much, take it back to maybe 1 tablespoon. There are people that are very sensitive to this, and it can give them diarrhea every time. However, I feel like people with EDS don't typically have that problem, so just kind of gauge it. This is the cheapest at places like Natural Grocers, if you have one in your state, or I don't know, not the big box stores typically, and it's like $14 or so. And I do that just in the morning, that's it. And when I go to eat breakfast about a half an hour later, I'll show you what I eat for breakfast. I eat this cereal, and I like it because the ingredients are very, very simple. It's just sorghum flour, flaxseed, honey, raisin juice, and salt. And this also is a form of fiber that is helpful to me, but not too much on my stomach. And it kind of tastes like grape nuts. So I have it with almond milk, or sometimes I'll put coconut flakes or hemp on it with almond milk as well. And with my breakfast and with every single meal, I take enzymes. Digest Gold by Enzymedica I have found to be the best after all of my experiences. It's pretty pricey, but if you know anyone that is a doctor or a health practitioner, they can get an account with Enzymedica and get much cheaper pills. But the enzymes help break down the food. If the food is not broken down, it typically leaks through the perforations in our stomach if we have ulcers or any issues like that. And it causes us to have issues with neurotoxins. And neurotoxins are what are linked to autistic behaviors, anger, irrational emotions that are just so intense you can't barely handle it. All of those are because our food is leaking out into our bloodstream and going to our brain without being digested. So I feel like that would probably impact just about anyone's behavior. But this is absolutely essential. This is my saving grace every day. And again, this can be found at Whole Foods or a co-op or any health food store. But the one that says gold has more ingredients that help break down the food better. So just something to keep in mind, because there are cheaper versions of this, but they don't have all the ingredients. I also take 2 of these a day with food. So I'll take these enzymes with a meal, and then I'll take also the ester C, vitamin C. Vitamin C seems to be very helpful for people with collagen issues. I found that it makes my skin clear, more moist. I have less eczema when I take it, or if I'm eating very, very strictly like I typically do, I don't have eczema at all. But this is super, super helpful just in the way of skin, since we all typically have problems with that. And it also obviously helps fight low immune system issues like just getting the flu and cold and things like that. I also take vitamin D3. I just take 1 of these a day in the morning. Vitamin D is also helpful with fatigue. I feel like a lot of us probably don't get outside as much as we should anyway. And also, again, the issue of not having the best absorption in our guts. This helps us stay happy. And apparently on the front it says that it also supports dental health, so that's a plus. When I eat my breakfast, I also have this cod liver oil. I take 1 spoonful a day. My theory is that, especially since I live in the desert, it's really important to nourish our body from the inside so it can nourish the outside. Because sometimes no matter how much lotion one puts on, your skin is still dry. But the cod liver oil helps nourish from the inside. But it also helps with brain function as well. It's one of the omega-3 fatty acids, which is essential to our brain and our body. So this is extremely helpful to me. So that was the group of 4 that I take with breakfast. So then again at lunch, I'll take 1 of these each, and then at dinner, take another 1 of these. And I did forget to mention, I'm sorry, with the breakfast, I also take a probiotic. And probiotics also help keep the natural flora in your gut. I'm sure a lot of us have had surgeries, so we've taken a lot of antibiotics to not get infections after those surgeries, or been under anesthesia, and all of those things kill natural flora in your gut. And since we, again, typically have stomach problems, it's really great to do everything that you can to make it so that you can easily go to the bathroom. Something I do want to point out is that I have issues with my left side, my descending colon. That's where people typically have diverticulitis issues. If I don't do this routine and I get off of the foods that I eat in particular and eat something else, I can't go to the bathroom normally, and it makes me bloated. And if you stand in the mirror and I look at my stomach, instead of both sides, curving in and then out at my hips, my left side will curve out because my intestines are swollen. So that's a test how you can tell if you really need to be treating your stomach differently, is if one side is pouched out and the other is not. So something to look at. What else? Something else I wanted to bring up, I'm a big advocate of no fluoride. So something to keep in mind is throughout the day, I am drinking pH balanced alkaline water from the co-op. And if you don't have access to that, the next best is reverse osmosis filtrated water. It's really essential to keep our pH in our body balanced so that we don't have extra issues on top of what we've already got. And so along with no fluoride in the water, I kind of just make my own toothpaste when I brush my teeth. So this is just a jar of aluminum-free baking soda, and I wet my toothbrush and I stick it in there, and then I pour a little bit of tea tree oil on it and brush, and it is one of the most minty, tingly, antiseptic, fresh feelings that one could get. I think even more than toothpaste in my mind. And I also do a peroxide rinse before I do my teeth brushing. You'll notice that if you do the peroxide rinse and then you spit it out, if it makes your gums or your teeth hurt a little bit, it's because you probably have inflammation/infection. You can probably do it, a day or two in a row, and it typically goes away because it eats the infection and flushes it out. So I've seen people with like periodontal disease reverse that with this just little regimen with the toothbrush and baking soda and tea tree oil and hydrogen peroxide. So on to the evening routine. After a long day, I make a tea that is absolutely essential. Again, this creates healthy mood, healthy sleep, mental stability. I think a lot of us probably have a lot of issues with that. So the first ingredient is, and by the way, you use a tea basket, just like a tea steeping basket, where you can throw all these raw ingredients in and put it in a cup. You don't want to just dump this directly in water. So you boil your hot water, and then you dump in a teaspoon of bacopa. And you should look up bacopa because it's a very fascinating magical herb that they've used in ancient societies. I can't list off all the things it does right now, but definitely look it up. It's pretty amazing. And this can be purchased, I would say online. The best place to get it would be through a company called Banyan in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you can buy it raw and they'll ship it to you. Then you put in a teaspoon of ashwagandha, which you can get from the same place. Teaspoon of that as well. Paw d'Arco, if you can see that. It's bark. It's very, very cheap. This completely kills any candida overgrowth that you may have in your body from, again, surgeries, from alcohol use, from just any yeast overgrowth in your body, which typically a lot of us have, and that causes extra joint pain, which is really annoying. So that's one. And the magical fourth ingredient is ground turmeric. I would definitely take the time to look up the properties of turmeric, but it has been known to reverse and kill just about every disease that everyone is getting now. So any cells that have abnormal growth or out of balance, the turmeric completely helps restore that. You will often find that once you drink this tea, you'll wake up in the morning and your face will be very clear and your joints won't hurt, and any acne that you had prior to going to sleep, you don't have in the morning. You can actually rub it directly on your skin, though I don't advise that because it stains. But if you had a spot that maybe didn't show, it's definitely worth it as far as acne goes. But that is my whole routine. And then if you drink that tea, and most people, it quite honestly makes them tired, so drink it at night. And drink it about an hour before bed because it's going to make you pee. It's doing some cleansing of the body, so it makes you flush it out. If you find that after a couple of days it's not making you tired and you still need help sleeping, I would try 5-HTP. There are different doses, so I would start at a small one, and if it doesn't suit you, take it back and purchase a higher dose. But this is the precursor to tryptophan, and tryptophan makes you really sleepy. It also deals with your serotonin levels, so it also just makes you feel really, really good. And I would take this about 15 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep. The difference is that I know melatonin is different from this. One helps you fall asleep and one keeps you asleep, and I believe that this one is the one that keeps you asleep, and I don't get a hangover from this, so it's pretty amazing. I know that I went through that pretty fast, so if any of you have any questions, feel free to message me and I will do my best to give you a timely response. I hope this helps many, many people, and I will be back soon. Love and light to y'all.